I know right now there's a lot of people out there that are quitting nicotine right now, so I thought this would be a good time to do just a quick video in regards to what to remember. Sorry, I'm a little sick. There's been something going around over the holiday break. Went from feeling like crap to more crap to a temperature to bronchitis to no body aches or anything now, but still just congested, but feeling better. Especially in the morning when I'm coughing stuff up. Ugh. But anyway, nicotine withdrawal. One of the big reasons people end up going back to it is not because of the physical withdrawals. So they'll make it past 2 weeks. And yeah, you'll have physical withdrawals and cravings, obviously. But what ends up happening is they think they're in the clear from the physical withdrawals, which they are. But they forget the mental withdrawals a lot of times can be just as bad, meaning we've talked about it, the post-acute withdrawals, to where it's that routine your brain is craving a lot of times. When your brain doesn't have that routine that you're used to, that is the biggest factor that will a lot of times make you relapse in regards to any sort of addiction, but in particular with nicotine craving. So let's say, for example, you make it past the first week and a half, 2 weeks, you're working or even you're not working. The biggest thing I would say is be prepared for the headache. So have ibuprofen and Tylenol. Kind of treat yourself like you're going to be going through to an extent with nicotine withdrawal. Like you're going to feel very foggy. You're going to feel a little sick. And I would not recommend going through this if you're actually physically sick. Like if you have something like a virus as well at the same time. The only way I would recommend that is if you can't hold anything down and smoking makes you want to throw up, that would be an option. But I would not do it while you're actually sick prior to that, or while you're sick. But there are also things that people talk about, like those lozenges that help, or the gum, the nicotine lozenges or the gum. They both can help. However, a lot of times those can just create addictions in their own right. And those are not cheap. That's the big thing. I mean, you can go that route, but that's going to be expensive. It can be something you can do that's efficient for, a month or so, but those things are very easy to replace it. Now, you might be saying with that, well, wouldn't you rather be using that than smoking? Of course. But you're not eliminating, though. What's happening, though, with that is you create a whole nother addiction. And there becomes more so that psychological withdrawal that comes with it, that routine. So the big thing is, if you first stop and you make it through the first 3 to 5 days through the physical withdrawal, one thing you're going to have to change up as well is, for example, if you go out and smoke, you've got a schedule of where you go out and smoke X amount of times during the day, or you're stressed, obviously, you smoke a cigarette. The big thing is to try to replace that time that you have set aside, or that time you're accounting for that you'd go smoke a cigarette, with something else. So if that even is instead, because a lot of times it can literally just be from the action of smoking, pulling the cigarette out and having something in your mouth. Some people don't like the lozenges or the gum because it's the act of actually smoking. Literally the act of smoking. I've known people in general that have literally had just just a pen, for example, just a regular pen with obviously the cap on. And what they would do is, when they felt like smoking, they would just take this, for an example, they would take something like this, right, with a cap on, and they would just put it up to their mouth, acting like they're smoking. Or even buying one of those, it's like steam smoke vape things, that it's literally just steam you're inhaling, to replace it. And then to the side, they use some nicotine gum as well to get that rush. That is something you can do. But once again, the nicotine cravings and the psychological aspect will be there. Getting past the physical withdrawal, once again, the headaches, even to an extent, some body aches and just agitation, that agitation aspect, just, I need to go smoke. That will go with time. That will go. But that's something, once again, that a lot of times that can go with the psychological, but with the physical side of it, surprisingly, people can make it through that easier than you would expect. But it's that post period, because the problem with that is the post-acute withdrawal or the mental cravings it varies from person to person, but it can last up to a month and a half, 2 months, all the way up to a year. So that's the trick, and it's all about that schedule you have right now in your mind on how are you going to stop smoking. Replacing those times that you set aside, or those times where you account for being stressed, how you replace those. And you can get creative with it. It doesn't have to be that expensive. As I said, things like even using a pen like this, it's the act of smoking, using something like that, putting up to your mouth, acting like you're smoking. And if you want, getting those lozenges or the gum to use with it. So doing the act of smoking and then using one of those. But a lot of times, once again, those can be expensive to where that might not be an option for you. God, I sound like crap right now. So much crap coming up. In the morning when you wake up, you're recovering from being sick, but you still have gunk going, up and down your throat. By the time it's night, right when you go to bed, you're feeling a little bit better, and then you got to wake up and just go through the whole cycle of that crap again. Gets annoying. But yeah, that was just a quick video on nicotine withdrawal and just kind of things that can help that are somewhat effective, and I've seen that help. Just remember that with it being a new year and whatnot, if you're doing this because it's a new year only, you're going to relapse. I'm just going to be honest. If you're doing this because you want to actually get off of whatever it is, in this instance nicotine, you've got to want to do it for yourself. Love you all. Have a great week. Have a great start to the new year. Have a great day as well, and you got this.